Welcome back to the program. Well, let's get back to the conversation. I will still have with us Mr. Ken Okologbo, a member of the PDP and a policy analyst in our Lagos studio. And architect Tunde Molenyi joins us from Abuja. He's a member of the APC and the Deputy Director of Buhari Campaign Organization. Thank you so much for staying with us, gentlemen. Well, let's move on with the conversation. Now, architect Molenyi, I'd like to read to you something the chairman of the PDP said recently. And this is what he said, I quote, he says, "The double standards apparent in the administration of President Buhari comes glaringly when he ceaselessly berates the judiciary and turns blind eye to the monumental corruption going on in the executive arm." Those are not my words. They are the words of the chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondus. Now, he has accused the president of turning a blind eye to the monumental corruption going on in the executive arm. How do you respond?
Howdy, before I say that, let me just correct an impression. I'm a member of APC. I was a member of the 2015 and 2019 PCC, Presidential Campaign Council. I was not a deputy director. I just needed to make that correction. I was a member.
Thank you very much for that.
Let me quickly say something. We have heard this before. They are the normal narrative by the opposition. I think the opposition should be very ingenious now, like we were before we took over. I think the president has provided a very decent platform, progressive platform for opposition to thrive, but not in a manner that would suggest that we are at war. I think we stand to gain a lot if you have a very vibrant opposition, the one that the president and his cabinet and APC has provided a platform for. You will recall that in the last 30 days, so to speak, a lot has been achieved. We've had an election in the House of Representatives successfully. We had an election in the Senate successfully. We've also been able to change the guards in the judiciary. In the police, we have a new, brand new Inspector General of Police. We are putting things in order. And I know that 24 hours is very, very important in the life of a man.
But Architect Molenyi, with these things you're saying, do you think Nigerians out there would agree with you? Yes, you have said these things being put in place.
No, it's every sensible Nigeria, every progressive Nigeria. There are problems. Nigeria is part of the global entity. There are bound to be challenges. The world was not created without challenges.
But Mr. Okologbo does not agree with you.
The point I'm stressing right now, what are the challenges like? Are they not part of life? Are we not supposed to have challenges? You want to have a situation where
are you saying we should just...
Then you're a dead man.
Are you saying we should just go with the flow?
Sorry?
Are you saying we should just go with the flow and just watch things happen? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just told you that when the president came in, he set up a committee. The committee has not even submitted his report. Yet this president has been working. This committee was set up to look at what happened in the past. It's just 30 days. How many minutes? The committee is just about 2 weeks. About 2 months.
Okay.
And it has not submitted its report.
Architect Molenyi, before I come to Lagos, I'd like to ask you, so when should we start expecting? When should we start saying, okay, you know what, we should expect?
No,
60 days?
Start expecting, you can say something about some appointments being made. If the president goes ahead and makes appointments in error, people will complain. Just like we saw recently at the National Assembly, there were a lot of euphoria. What have you? Burara, sorry to say. But the point is that the president has never, given the impression that he's not a methodical president.
All right. Okay, so let's come to Mr. A moment, Architect Molenyi. We'll come back to that issue, but I'd like to take up Mr. Ken in the studio briefly. Now, I was going through the internet and stories, and I saw something you put up, interesting thing you put up. I understand the PDP is an opposition party, and you're meant to keep the ruling party on its toes. Keep it on its toes. And this is what you said. He said, "Time to shade my party." That's the official PDP. And he said, "Lack of discipline is so prevalent. I knew they wouldn't keep to party instructions, unlike APC. Not even Ekweremadu could garner all the votes of PDP senators. What a shame." Now, you have mentioned something happening in your party. So does this show a formidable opposition?
No, I had to shade my party. I had no choice but to shade my party. That's the difference between my person and most of them that represent the APC. Ekweremadu stood for an election. We expected at least he should garner 44 votes, 44 senators out of the PDP stock. And once he didn't garner 44 senators, I had to shade my party.
So is your party a formidable opposition?
That showed lack of discipline, and I had to concede that at that moment, APC showed more discipline than the PDP.
So with the indiscipline you mentioned, is that a formidable opposition?
That doesn't take away the fact that we are still a formidable opposition. Why won't we remain a formidable opposition? You just made a statement that the national chairman made. Whether you like to accept, whether you like not to accept, but we still know that a lot of corruption had gone on in the executive arm. The vice president accused the SGF that was appointed by Buhari of being corrupt, and he was eased out of government. It was an SGF that was appointed by Buhari, Babachela.
And you said he was eased out?
Yeah, he was eased out. So that's one key example I have to show. That was an appointment that was made by Buhari, and that's an executive appointment. But looking at it holistically, we're looking at the fact that, look, we are looking at this thing without being sentimental. APC is not facing realities. I saw the leader of, one of the leaders of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with the Afenifere delegation talking about restructuring. Restructuring is one of the manifestos of APC. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not only an integral member of APC, he's a leader of APC. A committee was set up by Oyego, which was headed by El Rufai, a hypocrite when it comes to restructuring. And he submitted that report. And I stayed in this studio to tell you that that report will never see the light of the day. And I was proved right, because that report has not seen the light of the day. What am I saying here? I always stick on facts. The fact remains that people cannot look at the president eyeball to tell him that you are going wrong. They try to play, which is the biggest problem we've always had. They learn to play to the gallery, just follow the flow, even if it's not okay, as long as my hands are being oiled. And that's the problem we're always having. Okay, Mr.
Okolibo, we need to
that's why we always have this.
We need to go in a moment. One advice for the government.
One advice I have is stick to the truth. The security situation is very bad. We need to have a list of cabinets, like he rightly said. We expect that by the 2nd of July, that list will be with Lawan. Right. And the last of it all is he should expect that we are facing crisis in the oil sector very soon. All right. Especially with the Iran. With the problem between Iran and America.
All right, thank you.
And so we need to brace up.
Okay, Architect Molay, final words before we go.
Yes, I'd just like to advise the PDP to put up a robust opposition based on facts and figures and based on objectivity and patriotism. I'd like them to do exactly what we did before we took over from President Jonathan. I like a situation whereby people look at things not on sentimental basis, but of course on objective basis, realizing the fact that we have a country. It's our country, and if we are not up to the task, then of course we are not ready for sustainability.
Okay, since we're all given...
Finally, that henceforth,
all right.
henceforth, people should not judge a book by its cover.
All right.
And of course, people should be patient, because development is a gradual thing.
All right. Since we're all given advices, I'm sure the average Nigerian out there will also want to give the government advice.
Where we have all been killed.
Saying that we need better economy, better security,
yes.
And the list goes on and on. I'd like to appreciate you, Mr. Ken.
It's always my pleasure
for joining us, as well as Architect Imole. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Well, that's our show tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I am Kayode Okikiolu.